Love is cringe. Think about it. Reminiscent to your past relationships, what comes to your mind? If you don't have any past relationships, don't worry, I still got your back, mate. Just go to bed right now and try your best to go to sleep. Your brain will do all the rest for you. Anyways, in either case, what comes to your mind? Cuddling maybe? Flirting? Or lovey-dovey talk? Or maybe your partner holding your hand as you're walking out to some beautiful scenery out there somewhere. Which, by the way, do people still actually do this nowadays? Like seriously, I can't even begin to imagine actually doing this in real life, which actually works really well with my point. Yeah, if some random person, some random guy, like myself, is doing this out of nowhere for no damn reason, it would be kind of embarrassing to watch. Will give you some secondhand embarrassment, i.e. cringe. But I guess the cringe is not from the love, so back to it I guess. All the flirting, all the cuddling, all the lovey-dovey talk, how much of it would you proudly show to the public? How much of it would you confidently show to your mates? I take a guess that it's probably not a lot. Not a lot at all. That would just be PDAs, public displays of a cringe. Hey, if that's your thing, go ahead. Do whatever you want. Nobody's gonna stop you. So go ahead, pet that head while saying good dog or whatever you do. But for a lot of people out there, too much PDAs are kind of cringy. Now, it's not that it's bad or anything. If anything, it's pretty damn normal. Flirting is good.
Wow.
I know. I'm pretty damn smart. These glasses aren't just for show after all. Since I'm so damn smart, I can even guess what you're gonna say next. You're probably gonna say, hey, if flirting is so good, then why are PDAs cringe? Well, that's because you're cringe. No. Here's the thing. Flirting is good. It is a necessary step for anybody to get that love that everybody wants. Underline necessary, which also means a lot of the times it's stepping out of someone's comfort zones. Because flirting is a very specific way of communicating playful interest in someone else. Something that you're not typically used to because, well, me personally at the very least, you don't typically do flirting with just about anybody. Which also means because you're not used to it, it comes with a lot of embarrassment as well. Especially in the pursuing stage, but let's just put that aside for now. Now, getting flirted on is so much better. It makes one feels great. It makes one feels wanted, acknowledged, all these positive self-affirming adjectives that you can probably think of yourself. A lot of the times they're also a very funny and fun interactions. A lot of the times. Not all times, a lot of the times. Now, the most important part, watching someone flirting with someone else is the kind of cringy part. A lot of that cringe comes from secondhand embarrassment. Flirting for a lot of people is kind of embarrassing as we've established because a lot of people are kind of not used to flirting, so whenever they actually do them, it feels a little bit off and odd. The other thing that is kind of embarrassing about it is that you don't typically see people flirting just in any situation really, not even your parents flirting, so whenever you actually see people flirting, it just feels a little bit odd and out of place. I mean, it makes sense, right? It feels like you're watching someone's moments of vulnerability with someone they love. It feels somewhat voyeuristic, really. It is funny as well, don't get me wrong. But a lot of comedy that you actually get out of watching someone's flirting is usually out of cringe comedy. It just often is very funny to watch someone, especially your mate, fumble over their words as they're trying to strike up a conversation with their crushes. Which for me becomes very apparent in romance medias, especially once they're trying to portray the romance in a much more realistic manner, like for example in romance medias acted by real people. If the media itself is taking the romance too seriously with no hints of self-awareness, sometimes it can be a little bit too much to stomach, really. And in much the same way, in medias where the degree of separation of reality is much more explicit and apparent, it becomes much easier to stomach, like in anime. Cause, you know, they're not real. You can take a much higher degree of bullshittery flirting that goes on in anime with a much more face value. And you can just go watch something like this.
当然俺だけのメイドだからな
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Or the other way romance media usually tries to make the romance itself much easier to handle is by pairing it up with comedy, where there's a much higher degree of self-awareness built within the media itself that is making the romance itself not too serious while keeping it quite serious at the same time. The love itself is still the main idea of the media, but they are packaged in such a way that is much easier to swallow. Hence why we typically see more rom-coms out there than just pure romance. Well, I doubt that's the only reason why that is the case, and I doubt it even is the main reason as to why that is the case, but just let me have this one, alright? Despite how much one wants to have love, the efforts and steps it takes to get that love is kinda cringe when looked at in the third person lens after the fact. And don't even get me started on the realistic tediousness of love that is the messiness of it. Do you store clean dishes in the dishwasher or actually use it? Is it fine to leave dirty glasses in the sink overnight? Do you store away groceries immediately, or is it fine to leave non-perishables on the counter like a damn psycho? All the various tediousness that is very frustrating and annoying, yet is a part of every relationship. It is also a big reason as to why more realistic romance medias are kinda harder to get into. In order for these romance medias to be more realistic, they have to include this messiness within it. Whilst it is, as always, just as frustrating and annoying to watch these things in medias as it is to deal with them in real life. More importantly though, yes, love is
Cringe.
and messy, but that's fine. Yes, they are cringe and messy, but they just kinda are. The why can be easily hypothesized kinda logically, really. After all, in interacting with someone you literally love, you always want to give the best that you can. But as reality would often remind us, what we want and what we can actually give is not exactly one-to-one always, is it? Especially when it is tested every day, like in a relationship. In the end, the cringe and the messiness is just as much as a part to love as all the good things that comes along with it. It is fine that in pursuing love we act a little bit cringy, we cause another mess, because that is generally just a part of it. It is also fine for the biggest, baddest monstrosity of a human being to act a little bit playful spoiled with their partners. Of course, saying that it's fine doesn't really make the embarrassment go away. I'm still gonna get cold hands. I'm still gonna get my heart pumping. I'm still gonna say something along the lines of, "Hey, do you wanna grab something to bit?" Even though I say all these things. However, it is generally just not a case of you just gotta treat it as a part of the experience. Keeping a sense of awareness that love is indeed cringe and messy will help us actually taking that step outside of our comfort zones to pursue love. Again, it doesn't make any cringy things that we actually do any less cringy. What it does do though, helps ground our expectations. Expect that we will act cringy, we will cause another mess when pursuing love, if not now, later down the line. But that's fine, because once again, it is just a part of it. So at least consciously we can push ourselves to pick it back up and cause another cringe, cause another mess whenever we fail. Of course, while learning each and every step of the way. So go forth, send that I love you message to your partner right now. Ask that coworker that you've been eyeing on for some genuine one-on-one. Slide into your crush's DMs. Under your own risk, of course. Before you do any of these things, alright? Think about it first. Think whether what you're gonna do is cringy, which is fine as we've established, or inappropriate, which is very much not fine. Alright. Oh. Okay. That's about it. I just basically saw Garnt say something like this in Trash Days.
Okay, this might be a hot take. I think love is just like cringe.
And I just thought to myself that, Heck, I really agree with it. And here's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Go like, subscribe, share, whatever you want. And bye bye. Have a great rest of your day.